That concept that has existed throughout the history of mankind, and when it enters a person's life, all their balances change, not only when it enters their life, but even when it enters their body. It plays with the settings of their hormones and thought system. It has a destructive and constructive effect. Yes, that concept is love. Love, that feeling that happens to many people and leaves a mark on their lives. Love is a broad concept that everyone defines differently. For some, it is sacrifice. For some, it is friendship. For some, it is passion. For some, it is attachment. And for some, it is actually all of them. Love has many destructive effects. One of those effects is the lack of reciprocation. Imagine, you put your heart in a room and hand the key to the door to the person you are in love with. You are making a great sacrifice. Of course, when such a great sacrifice is ignored, underappreciated, or unrequited, it has serious consequences in the life of the man or woman. So, does this only apply to humans? No, of course not. Drosophila, the fruit fly, has incredible characteristics. Many experiments and studies have been carried out on this species of fly, which is between 1 to 3 millimeter in length, reproduces very quickly, and therefore its genetic structure is easy to study. This fly has really extraordinary characteristics. For example, it was found that it could change the angle of its wings 250 times per second, and, with the help of an automatic balance system, it could fly even in strong winds without changing its direction of flight. A natural gyroscope was detected in its wing. What is this gyroscope? It is an instrument used to measure or adjust direction and works to maintain angular balance. Not only these features, but they also taste with their wings. They have great odor receptors, and female fruit flies can lay up to 500 eggs. They can hover in the air. According to Michael Dixon, who studies the basis of behavior in the brain at the University of Washington in Seattle, there is nothing quite as amazing as the fruit fly. But can we also see the devastating effects of love in these incredible creatures? Male fruit flies catch a glimpse of a female fly before mating and start dancing around her. This behavior, which looks like a dance to us, actually starts to make a love song with the different vibrations of its wings. The more complex it is, the higher the chances of mating. Just like the tactics and techniques humans use to impress the opposite sex. But what is the female fruit fly doing in the meantime? Nothing. She chooses the male with the most interesting dance. Just as women in real life often expect the other person to make the first move and want to see something impressive. I would also like to mention the following information so that you can understand the context better. The brain of a fruit fly contains a chemical called neuropeptide F. The higher the amount of this substance in the fruit fly's brain, the happier it is, and the lower the amount, the unhappier it is. The experimental team had prepared two groups, Group A and Group B. In the environment of the fruit flies in Group A, females that had not mated before were placed. Thus, the males in Group A were able to mate. The male fruit flies in Group B were placed in the same environment as the newly mated female flies, which refused to mate with the male flies. In the next step of the experiment, male flies from Groups A and B were put in the same environment and given the chance to eat two different foods. One of the aims is to see if there will be a difference in the way they eat. On one side, they are given their favorite food, and on the other side, they are given a food that contains alcohol. The results are quite interesting. As you might have guessed, the male flies that were able to mate prefer the normal, non-alcoholic food, while the male flies that were unable to mate and were rejected prefer the alcoholic food. Male flies in Group B, the rejected ones, the ones who were unable to mate, show a huge decrease in neuropeptide F in their brains. Yes, imagine the devastating effects on humans of a situation that changes the lives of even rejected flies. The impact of rejection in humans is not as simple as that. It is not easy to cope with, especially for people who think a lot. Magnetic resonance imaging shows that when we experience physical pain and rejection, the same areas of the brain are activated. In a way, rejection is similar to physical pain. Therefore, the inevitability that it will inevitably lead to changes in the fruit fly's life can be taken for granted. We hope to see you in our next video to talk about and explore interesting events in the lives of such amazing creatures.